Brent Staker, Barry Hall, 9.5 years after the big moment. What's it like, Brent? I'll start with you, to be in the company of Barry today.
Good question to start off with. I don't think we've ever had the chance to even come across each other while I was playing, even while you're in the media. So, yeah, look, it's... for the first couple of seconds sitting down here, it's a bit of a shock, but we're just two men going about our business now, life after footy.
I certainly wouldn't have been how he was. I would have been a lot more bitter because, you know, what I did is not great. You know, he said it was a part of footy, which it isn't. It's not a part of footy. It's, it was a low act and something that he shouldn't have to live through now. And I spoke about that Hall of Fame night that bothers me a little bit now.
Now, I know it might be a bit difficult to do so, but could I just get you to have a look at the incident again, please, if that's all right?
As Hall off the ball. Oh! Barry Hall has whacked behind play. That is ridiculous, Barry Hall. He has smacked Staker in the head.
Is that uneasy for you to watch, Barry?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable for me to sit here next to him and watch that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Is it uncomfortable for you, Brent?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I know you said in the past that your mates sort of had YouTubed it and Googled it and you had seen it on the back of that, but had you sought to see it before?
Oh, no, look, at the world of social media, there's always, it bobs up when you least expect it, you know, or nowadays all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you come across it here and there. I don't actively look to show anybody, clearly, but, yeah, it just somehow finds you every now and then. I mean, to watch that first time sit next to Barry, it's a bit of a shock.
There was an ugly aftermath, wasn't there? I mean, you had the tribunal hearing itself, you got the 7 weeks, the families got involved. Members of your family called Barry, I think the quote was a weak mongrel. Your side of the family put it back on your club even, about not being the greatest role model. So it got ugly, didn't it, in the days afterwards?
Yeah, look, I mean, my parents, they live in Broken Hill, a little bit isolated, and they wear their heart on the sleeve. They're that kind of family. They reacted in the moment, and maybe it's just a natural reaction to every parent, just because it's happened so quick, and you know, maybe just seeing my eyes roll back in my head was probably scared them. So, you know, I chat with them about it. We watched a show recently on TV which involved Barry and some other sports stars talking about life after sport, and you know, we had some good discussion as a family about that, and you know, they're all on the same page as me. They're all moved on.
Can I just get you to articulate, if you can, how having your son now is making you reflect upon differently with what you did with Brent?
Well, one thing it's sort of overcome me a little bit is how protective I am of my little boy. And he's only 7 weeks old, but you know, my world revolves around him. So it takes me of how Brent's parents would have thought. And you spoke about the families colliding and all that sort of stuff. And rightly so, they should have said that, because everything they said was true.
I mean, being called a weak mongrel,
what can I say about that? It's true. I actually had a falling out with my family over, they're not very media savvy, and they got baited, and they stuck up for me. So I actually had a falling out over them, just to be quiet.
In supporting you?
Yeah. You don't need to. Yeah. I've done the wrong thing, let's try and move on. So, yeah, there's been some challenges.
You've patched that up now?
Absolutely, yeah. Just that protective thing with my little boy now has sort of reverted me back to what Brent's dad would think, and yeah, makes it a bit real.
When you see it again, is there a fear that it could have been a whole lot worse and you actually could have, you know, killed Brent?
Yeah, absolutely could have been worse. You know, there's the one-punch thing getting around now in society, and you know, it happens every weekend. It has to stop because it's dangerous. It bothers me the kids have to watch that as well, because it's, you know, young kids who have followed my career and looked up to me shouldn't have to watch that.
When you look back on that time, do you have a greater clarity on the why you did what you did to Brent that night?
Not really. Probably the best therapy I've done is accept responsibility for it, rather than, because what we do in society nowadays is make excuses or blame someone else. I was actually glad we're doing this today, because you know, I want to show people that if you do something like that, you need to man up and look a bloke in the eye and tell him that, you know, it's not acceptable, and that I am thinking of what he goes through now.
Just on yourself, Brent, does it worry you or does it concern you that you are known, as Barry suggested, probably more for the incident with him than anything else you did on a footy field?
Yeah, look, yeah, I've come to terms with it. I know that it's going to be the one incident that I remember before. There's been other moments. I know of all the moments in my head that I had some good moments on the footy field. But yeah, you know, last year playing footy in the Queensland State League up here, so the amateur level just below NEFL level. Yeah, that was probably the most I've heard about it and copped it. So,
do you think you'll ever get a chance to have people think of you differently?
Yeah, I guess now, and I'm certainly not getting a violin out for myself, but I've done a lot of great things in my career, but I always get remembered for that incident. And it's just made me think about what Brent has to live through now. You know, he's been a fair player himself, and even people, society, they're ruthless. And I can just imagine what he goes through, and that bothers me a bit. It does. Yeah. And I can't do anything about that now. It's something that, as I said before, I've remembered for that now. I thought I was an okay player, but I don't really get remembered for that. But it reverts to what he goes through now, and that bothers me more than anything.
Does it affect you every day, Brent? Is it something that comes up every day in your life?
I'm certainly associated with it. That's the thing. If people don't know who I am, they'll either YouTube it or it'll come up in conversation at some point. Was it
the beginning of the end of your time at the Swans, Barry, just with what happened that year? I know you had another year before you did leave and go to the Bulldogs, but was it the beginning of the end?
Yeah, it definitely was. I was frustrated with the way the Swans played their footy. You know, we played a slow brand of football, and you know, we had a pretty good forward line at that stage. So I'm saying get it in quick, but you know, proofs in the pudding, we're winning games, and I was just trying to make us better.
There's a build up to that moment in round 4.
Yeah, and it doesn't excuse what happened. I'm certainly not making excuses, but I was frustrated.
You're hearing Brent's talk, and even, 10 minutes ago you said that you'd be different too. Can you believe how he's been with this, Barry? I mean, the way he's taken it. And
yeah. He's been really good. Yeah. As I said, I wouldn't have been so warming. I think it just shows what sort of character he is, and you know, he's clearly not holding grudges, and it's more about educating others rather than worrying about himself.
It sounds like you've got an acceptance of it now. Is that fair to say?
Oh, look, I do. I mean, it's 9.5 years ago. I know it's the first time we've been in the same room and chatted about it, and clearly it, you know, bothers Barry still a little bit because you've got the son, and you can sort of see that how in future. And look, when I have kids, maybe my son will say what happened there, so I've got to face that down the track. I think it's good that we've chatted. I think it's good that you call it burying the hatchet, that you can talk about that incident openly and honestly.
And is there anything you want to say to Barry while we're finishing up this chat?
Off the top of my head, I just think...
If there's not, don't.
Yeah, I was just going to say, look, mate, I'm really good about it. I appreciate the, making the effort to come here today and chat to me about it. I think the incident is, you know, it was probably worse for you, clearly, but I mean, move on. You're a dad now. You're going to be a proud father. You got the little man. I think all that stuff's a great time in your life to go ahead and don't let this sit over your head and ruin all those good times. I mean, I think it'll be fine.
Anything back to Brent?
Oh, it's just good to come here today, so I want to thank you for coming because it's helped me quite a bit. As I said, I was only guessing what you went through, so to actually sit here and listen to what you do go through from day to day and how comfortable you are with it is a credit to you, because you know it was a confronting thing, and it's something you shouldn't have to deal with as a football player. So I was going to say it was a one-off incident, but it wasn't. It's something that continually happened through my career. But you know, if I could take it back, I certainly would. I apologise on the phone to you, but you know, as I said, if I could take it back, I certainly would 1,000 times over.
Yep. Thanks.
Cheers, bud.